It doesn't matter what side of the Monopoly game that you're on. Either way, you're already playing the game.
Sawand Belcher, an experienced real estate developer, offers valuable tips that can help transform your life through real estate.
At what point were you like, I gotta do this full time?
I go to church, and for some reason I kept getting the answer that everything you try is gonna work. And so I just kept getting more and more creative. And then the next 14 deals I bought by signing contracts. And so it's just been up ever since.
Once you get past, I want to say a golden number, it could be like, let's say double digits. You start hitting 10. You get past 10. What's going through your mind?
Anxiety.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And today's guest, listen, only high level recommendations. And as you know, we always keep it authentic. And so we're going to find out more about him ourselves. And so tell us a little bit about you, brother.
Nice. That's what's up. Well, nice to meet here and meet you, Rich. I'm Sawand Belcher. Most people know me online as This Is Me Taking Action. So I created that, slogan or phrase, but really what it is it's like an affirmation, I was quitting my job at the car dealership when I decided to go all in on my real estate company. So that's how, literally walking out the door, I changed it from Crown Honda sales guy to This Is Me Taking Action, walking out the door, quitting my
That's
job.
That's a powerful statement.
It is, bro. It is. And so every day, I get up living that, This is me taking action, but I'm a real estate investor. So, I do everything from A to Z in real estate. So, yeah.
So real estate. Okay. Yeah. So we've had some crazy real estate sharks on here. Claudian Hibbert, Brian Adamson. We've had a lot of them on here. And so there's some questions that I want to dive into because every time I learn something about real estate, it's new. Yeah. And y'all be pulling information out of everywhere. I feel like I gotta join the real estate world. So
well, you're already in it. There's a roof right here. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what side of the Monopoly game that you're on, right? Either way, you're already playing the game. So
okay. So the next question I would have is what made you go real estate from car dealership to real estate?
That's a good question. All right. So, it's all about the people that you're around. So I was blessed to be a part of the best leadership I ever been around at a job. The general manager of the dealership at the time, he was such a good leader, such a good marketer, such a good salesperson. And that led down to the people that he hired, so the sales managers were such good leaders, such good trainers and aggressive all at the same time. And that spilled down to the salespeople that they hired. So one thing that the goal that the finance managers had was that salespeople, should have more bills because good salespeople that have bills make more money. And so, instead of encouraging them to go out and party and go to the strip club and that kind of thing, if you were selling more than 15 cars, if you're making more than $100,000 or more, then they would influence you to buy a nice car, get married, get you a house, and so I'm spending this money at the time that I'm making. And, and Michael Starkey, as one of the finance managers, he's like, yo, bro, so what you doing with all this money? I'm spending it. Smiling on my face. He's like, nah, bro, you need to buy a house, And so I ignore him for 3 months. He brings it up again. I had just sold the car and I was like, nah, bro, I haven't done anything with that. He's like, well, I'm setting up, an appointment so you can get pre-qualified to get you a house. Leave work right now. You already sold the car. Bye. And I set up an appointment for you. So I went there, the state employees, the local bank, and surely enough, they pre-qualified me for a loan. So that was the start to the beginning. Yeah.
Got you. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that makes me want to take it back even further because getting into car sales is a real specific job. Not everybody gets into car sales.
Absolutely.
And it requires actually a lot to be good at car sales.
It does.
So growing up, what was growing up for you like?
Ooh, that's wow. Okay. So so my dad is a shark. I mean, most people, when I tell them stories about my dad, they think he's an asshole, but growing up, the son of an asshole, you get all of these great disciplined, militant kind of, habits.
Was he in the military?
No, his dad was in the military and his dad was just aggressive.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so there's a couple things. So 5th grade, okay, I asked my dad, I see something that I want. I say, hey, Dad, this is what I want, And he said, no, I'm not getting it for you. And I say something back to him. I forget what I said, but his response was, well, if you had your own money, you can buy whatever you want. And for me, at that time, that he wasn't telling me that I couldn't have it. He just said that he wasn't going to buy it. But if I had it, then I could. So that, to me, it triggered in my brain, I just need to make some money, And so he had a computer in the living room. And so I made Juan's Lawn and Dog Sitting Service flyers. I put 100 all over our neighborhood, and people started calling me to cut their grass in the 5th grade. Okay.
Wow.
Mind you, I didn't have a lawnmower, blower, or weed eater. But when I got the first customer, I told my dad about it, and he took me out to go get my own. He wouldn't let me use his, but he took me out to go get my own. And so I'm making money, so many good stories. But, some people would say that my dad was an asshole for that, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't anything major. I was only in the 5th grade.
Yeah.
But that was like a learning lesson, Yeah.
Okay. No, that's major. And so what did your dad do at that time?
So my dad always wanted to have his own business. Okay. But he didn't have his own business until I was actually in college. So at that time, he was the manager over an appliance store.
Okay.
So essentially, it was like a small company. They had like 6 stores, and he ran 1 store. But anytime they had like dents in them, the store couldn't sell them, and the manufacturer would just leave them as like store samples. And of course, your store gets so many. So my dad would resell those dent products, for a discount to family members, to friends, online, those kind of things. And he would have me put them up on his website. If you guys are enjoying this episode and you resonate with how you want to be successful in life, no matter if it's something that I said or something that came out in your heart of hearts, join us every week, Sunday at 9 p.m. Just go to thisismetakinaction.com and join the weekly group calls for only $50 a month. In these calls, we'll go over proven strategies of how you can dominate your market inside of real estate with none of your own money. We'll see you then.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's dope. And this was in North Carolina.
This was in North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay.
So we lived in Raleigh at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, we lived in Raleigh at that time. But he always had like some kind of side hustle thing going on. If it wasn't the appliances, it was selling the little calculator watches off of eBay. He got this big like commercial book called Uline, and he had me create a website. He said, every product in this 100-page book, put it up on my website. I want you to sell. It took me 2 years to get every product up on that website.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
And so with that conditioning at a young age, what does your friend group look like?
I don't have friends. I didn't really have friends. That's not really, he didn't condition me to have friends. And, he never told me it was a good thing to have friends. Now I will say that he definitely wanted to make sure I was attracted to women though.
Yeah.
Because one thing he would say to me is like, hey, don't bring around a ugly girlfriend in the house, which, once again, that sounds like an asshole kind of thing to do, but it still trained me, that I want a nice woman, that I deserve a nice woman, that I deserve nice things.
Yeah.
And it's okay to have that. And, but I didn't really have a lot of friends, I didn't really have a lot of friends.
And so with you taking this journey early from 5th grade to college, did you expand on that same business, or did you make another business?
Juan's Lawn and Dog Sitting Service until I graduated from high school.
Oh,
Yeah. In middle school, I was making, like $1,000 every 2 weeks, and so for a 6th grader, 7th grader, that's money. I told my dad that I wanted a car, and, he's like, oh, you got money? Yeah, I do. And, the good thing is he did help me buy the car, but like, wheels, coilovers, window tint, blasted out speakers in the back, it's, it was all love. And he was there to help me and assist me with those things. Like, hey, don't buy those wheels, buy from here, and, no, that's what I did. Now, on top of the cutting grass, I mean, I had several jobs. I was like the ball pick boy at the range, I was in the band in high school, and we opened for the new Food Lion in town.
Which instrument?
I played the sousaphone, the tuba.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we opened for this Food Lion, just the band in high school. But while I was there, the district manager was there, and I was like, "Oh, what's up, man? Give me a job."
Yeah.
And whatever I said to him at that time, he said, "You got the job. Come back, let this person know that I told you that you're hired, and you're hired." And so surely enough, I came back that day. I was hired at Food Lion. So I never really worked there a lot, but I did that just because, I was willing to pitch the guy and he was willing to give it to me. And, but I mean, I always had jobs. I think I had like 3 jobs in high school while I was with the band. So, and being a student. So, yeah.
So that kind of upbringing, like, is very rare to hear that in, just any community to begin with, but especially the Black community.
For sure.
And so having that kind of distinction within, your buildup, what did you ever run into women that just want to, the nice things, or, like they see you moving, they see you grinding, or
I've always been the top, in my opinion, I've always been the top 5% of males, I've always wanted to be attractive, I've always wanted to be fit and look nice, I'm skinny, but I've never wanted to like overeat, and women like that, like I said, I always had a nice car, women like that, and of course being with my dad washed the cars every Saturday. It doesn't matter if it was about to rain that day, we're washing the cars today, bro. You know what I mean? There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. That's what we're doing. It's Saturday, we're washing the cars. And so if my girlfriend at the time, in high school or college or now, I'm washing her car, because that's my job as a man, So women wanting nicer things, always, like always, but it's never been like a bad thing to me, because that's just always what my dad required out of himself, and it attracted my mom, and I've always required it from me. And so that's just what my wife requires, so it's not, I don't see it as a bad thing. It's just,
So that makes me think about like the dynamic, because you see it on social media a lot nowadays, where it's like, the man should be the sole provider, and the woman should stay home with the kids and all of that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, every woman wants a man. That's it. Every woman wants a man. And insecurity. Well, so one thing I always tell people, one of the things I had to do when I quit the dealership to go into real estate full time is I had to make my wife feel secure. Because like she was already a stay-at-home mom while I was at the car dealership.
Got it.
And so me leaving that job, the job that provided for her, that, got us our cars and pay for our house, she's just like, why would you do that? For this thing that's your side hustle, I had to make her feel secure. So one thing I always did is once I quit, I make sure I keep, $1,000 in ones. I go buy some lingerie for her. Whenever she get that insecurity, I go buy some lingerie, $1,000 in ones, and I throw it at her, and because it made her feel more secure as in me as a man, that I'm making right decisions. I'm making money, you know what I mean? And that also that she's important to me. You know what I mean? I'm not losing focus of our marriage as well. So
got it. Yeah. Okay. No, that's an interesting perspective.
Absolutely.
And so now in your transition from college to life, what did you go to college for?
No, I went to college for political science. Yeah, but like I said, that general manager, when I got hired, it was senior year. I had 14 credits left to graduate. Okay. And the general manager said, yo, bro, you're going to kill it. So just promise me that if you make more than your professor, then you quit school. That was his bet to me when he hired me.
And you did.
Yeah, and I did. So I started in April. At the end of the year, I made $65,000. Wow. My professor, Derek Smith, a political science major, political science teacher, he got paid $55,000 at A&T.
Wow.
So, in less than a year, I made more than my professor. So I was like, dang, I gotta.
That dynamic to me is always the craziest, because even when I went to school for psychology and arts, I went for a double major. I was in the Marine Corps, so GI Bill paid for it, whatever.
Yeah.
As I got out, like, it was always the professor was like, oh, how's that little business going?
Yeah. It's like, bro, you're here teaching us. You know what I mean? And see, that's one reason that school never resonated to me. Well, actually, a couple classes did. I loved my law class because attorney Dudley came in to teach law. Because she was an actual attorney. Yeah. She would use actual events and then be able to use that experience to teach us. But in my business class, we had Dr. K. And Dr. K was great. But this guy never owned a business. You know, he always taught out of the textbook, and he could never give us an actual, you know, life applicable situation.
Got it.
And I never liked that because, like, how are you teaching me business
when you ain't even have it?
You never had a business. You never tried. You know, I never liked that. And so to have this man, you know, Scott Bisbee, the general manager, to make this challenge to me, you know, and then it actually, you know, I actually see it through. I'm like, oh, wow. I don't need that at all. You know, and you know what I mean? He challenged me, said, hey, forget that. This is it. You know, you're good enough the way you are right now. Let's grow you. And I like that.
Okay. Yeah. And so I randomly started thinking about Grant Cardone.
Yeah. Right? Oh, he was definitely, that was actually Grant Cardone. I don't know if you know, but Grant Cardone was in the car business. And the first software he created was a phone script for car businesses. So that was who Scott Bisbee, my general manager, used at the time for sales training was Grant Cardone's phone training.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so he online said something where he's like, if you don't make at least $400,000 a year, you're not a real man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, currently, personally, you know, to me, I pay myself $300. So I'm working towards that, you know.
Okay. No, this is getting interesting. You know, I always like to dive into the past. And so people get to know, you know, we like to humanize people on here because you know, people might see all the money and the things we got going on, but everybody got a story on, you know, how they either became a villain or a superhero.
Facts.
And so, you know, after leaving college, you went directly into the car sales?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, absolutely. So with the car sales, you get the nice car, you get everything, you start doing that training.
I already like nice cars. Yeah, so I just upgraded my cars. See, in college, like I said, I was always working. So I had like a new Volkswagen GTI. Once again, lowered spring speakers. You know, I'm taking my girlfriend, you know, the car shows. You know,
so you're a car guy.
Yeah, I'm a car guy. I love cars.
Gotcha.
And but I did make the decision when I was gonna go full time. About a year before I knew I was gonna quit, I did get rid of my car debt. Yeah, I did because I knew if I was gonna quit, I had to, you know, kind of decrease my lifestyle for a second, you know, at least for a couple years, you know, so I could invest. And that's exactly what I did. So that first house that I bought, like I said, I bought with a loan, and we were supposed to move into it. But my girlfriend at the time, my wife now, she's like, I'm not moving into a house with you if we not married, you know? And I'm like,
so how'd you meet her? And when
college.
Did you meet her?
College. I met her in college. We had a baby senior year. So yeah, that's why I need to get a romance job at that point.
Gotcha.
But yeah, she was moving in into an apartment. I was moving in. It was me, my dad, Damien, and another one of my homeboys moving in my stuff.
Okay.
It was her and her mom moving in their stuff. And we're from North Carolina. We're Southerners. Yeah. So we're like, hey, ladies, stop. Y'all not moving in nothing. Yeah. Y'all go upstairs. We're going to bring everything up there. And, you know, y'all chill. And that's how we met.
Southern hospitality.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. And so now I want to start getting into the real estate side.
Yes, sir.
So you leave the car industry and you join real estate. At what point were you like, I got to do this full time? What was that moment where you were like, I'm gonna leave?
My goal was, because I was flipping houses on the side at the car dealership, but my goal was to make $8,000 on a deal. See, okay, so the first deal I got financed. Okay. So you're bringing money to the table.
Okay.
Like I said, I wanted to move in there, but she didn't want to move in with me, so I ended up renting it out. Okay, so that little bug kind of got me because we're getting rent checks monthly now. You know, sales is you make a sale.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You get paid. You don't make a sale, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
So the rent, you know, continuously getting rent like that, I was like, oh, this is nice. I got to do it again. And so the second house I bought was finally, I got, you know, put on some knee pads. We get engaged. And so she's like, oh, now I want a house now, you know? And I'm like, what the fuck you want? What do you mean you want a house now? You know, 6 months ago, I bought a house. You didn't want to move in. Yeah. Nobody has two houses. You know, that's my mindset at the time. And so, but I go back to my financial advisor, my financial manager at the dealership. I say, yo, bro, my girlfriend want a house now. Like, how do I get another house? He said, bro, people got second houses. You know, you can go get another house. He said, just rinse and repeat the same process that you did. Go back to the bank and set up that appointment. That's step one, right? And I said, cool. So went back over there and she said, well, you know, we will give you a second loan, but you need to make your first payment at least for 12 months. And then on the 13th month, you can come back and we'll do another one for you. So that's what I did. So during that time, I kind of set myself up, saved up another down payment, you know, got ready to get my second one. So the second one, I did a little different because the first one I got off the MLS. It was a bank-owned property. Okay. The second one, since I'm making a decision with my soon-to-be wife now, I needed to make sure, you know, that I got what she wanted, not what I wanted. And so we like drove around town, you know, looking for the neighborhood that we wanted to live in, you know, and we found like a nice, like Black entrepreneur, old style kind of, you know, area we wanted to live in, but we still had like, you know, months before we could actually buy. So we just would ride over there every week, a couple times a week, just manifest. And one day she was like, hey, let's park our car right here and let's just walk down the street. And I'm like, oh, that's good, babe. Yeah, like we live here, you know? Yeah. You know, so, and that felt good because people would wave at us like we lived there, you know? Wow. And that felt good. And so I'm in sales. So I'm like, babe, there's a vacant house right there. How about we ask the neighbor who owns that house, you know? And so we stop. First house that we knock on, Shirley Wiley opens the door. Older lady, she's got to be in her upper 80s, you know? And she invites us in. She's cooking. You know, next thing you know, we're talking. We're 30 minutes in, you know, and she's like, so what kind of house y'all want to buy? You know, he's like, well, just give us the number to the one across the street. Like I said, we've been there for 30 minutes. And she's like, well, what do you think about my house? You know, and I'm like, I look at my wife. It's old as fuck, by the way. You know, walls is still like, you know, brown panel. You know what I mean?
You got to redo it.
Yeah, you got to redo it. And roof is older, you know, but it's a nice house. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, central heating and air, you know, but it's just old. It looks like your grandmama's house.
Your facts.
You know? Okay. And she's like, well, babe, I think we can take it. And she said, well, what about my stuff? I'm like, oh, this bitch really about to agree to this. Yeah. Hold on. And so, well, you know, we can't close it out for another, you know, 2 months anyway. So she said, well, great. Let's put it on paper.
Wow.
Right. You know, and I never, you know, went direct to a seller like that because, like I said, I had a realtor last time. So this time I reached back out to my realtor, put this on paper for me. But I learned something. Okay, the realtor got
assignment fees.
The realtor got the fee for both sides because you know there's a buyer's commission and there's a seller's commission. You know, on the first one, she just got one side. This time, she got both sides. And it almost made me curious, almost like I didn't really need her, because if she was getting both sides. And so we closed on that house. Great. You know, we moved in. And I got the bug like instantly after we closed that house again to buy another one. Like my hand, you know how your hands itch when you're getting money? And it just kept hitting me. So I go to church, you know, and I'm like praying and stuff. And for some reason, I kept getting the answer that everything you try is going to work. I just kept getting that every time I went to church. Everything you try is going to work. And so I go talk to, you know, one of the guys at church. You know, I'm like, oh man, I gotta have another house, bro. He said, yeah, you could get one. I said, bro, people got this many houses. I got 2 already. Facts. He said, bro, people got hundreds of houses. I said, hundreds. You know, that got me more interested. You know, YouTubing. I'm reading now. You know, I'm talking to people about it. And this guy says, well, you know, this is a couple weeks later after that. He said, well, come to my Christmas party. He's come to my Christmas party, man. And we'll talk real estate then. You know, he's an elder at the church, James Cox. And so I go to his Christmas party. House nice. 3 stories, 6 bedrooms, 6 baths, 4-car garage. You know what I'm saying?
Living like that?
Oh, yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it. And he's top tither at our church, by the way. And anyway, so I'm like, oh, wow, I'm about to learn something tonight. You know, so I purposely stayed on the last one to stay. You know, he didn't really teach me a lot that night, but what he said was, hey, bro, I got a house that I think, you know, that you can buy. You know, it need a little work, but that's perfect for, you know, what you need, you know, to get started in this thing. And I said, okay, cool. He gives me the keys that night. He said, just go by there, look at it, and let me know what you can do.
Wow.
Right. I'm like, wow, this is crazy, you know? So a couple days later, I reached back out. I said, hey, look, bro, I'll take it. But the only way I can do it is if I give you a down payment and I make you payments over time. He said, cool, I'm down. I wasn't expecting him to say that because I told him that I was going to give him 15 grand down. I ain't have 15 grand, you know, but he said yes. And I'm like, oh shit, I got to come up with the 15 grand, you know? And so I started looking up, you know, how do I get money for these houses? Some just told me to just tell my mom. I told my mom about it. She said, hey, no problem. So why? I got really great credit. I got a 720 credit score. I'll just get the loan for the 15 grand. You can give it to him, but you got to own the house with me. Me and you, we own the house. And for the next 4 houses, I need to own with you. That was what my mom told me.
So for your first 2 houses, what was your credit like?
My credit was like bare minimum, 620.
Gotcha.
You know, so yeah, 620.
Okay.
And so I'm still good enough to buy a house. Yeah. You know, but 620, just barely good. And so what was beautiful about my mom doing that for me is, number one, it taught me that I didn't have to have cash because she was willing to get a personal credit line. Yeah. She didn't have 15 grand cash either. And we used that to acquire that house. Okay. But also she was almost challenging me even more because she said, we got to buy the next 4 houses together. Ooh. You see what I'm saying? So it was almost like my general manager, what he did to me at first, but she's doing it in a different way.
Your parents is throwing you haymakers,
bro. and it's not even, and see, some people will look at it like, oh, his parents did this for him. Well, really, not really. You know, really, not really. They challenged you. Yeah, they're challenging me. It's not like they're giving me anything. I'm bringing an opportunity. I'm working. Anyway, so we buy that one. I give the $15,000 check to Mr. Cox. We signed the paperwork. He said, yo, bro, I got another one.
How soon after?
That day. Damn. That day that I give him the 15 grand and we signed paperwork. I said, get out of here. You know? And so, like I said, God was telling me every time I went to church that everything you try is going to work, you know? And so on top of that, it's like, that wasn't, to me, it was like, okay, if I try it, it's going to work. But also that means whatever I try, you know what I mean? Like, that means I can be creative. I don't have to stay in one lane. I don't have to just keep getting loans, you know? If I wanted to buy a house, whatever I had to do, it was going to work. You know what I mean? And so I just kept getting more and more creative. The next 4 or 5 deals I bought subject to. I bought by taking over a loan. And then the next 14 deals I bought by signing contracts. And so it's just been up ever since. Yeah.
Wow. So how many houses do you have now?
So what I own right now is about 70.
Hold on. You just dropped that 70 cash. 70.
Well, it's just not a lot because, I mean, realistically, I've purchased over, I don't know the exact number, but it's been over 400 transactions. Wow. You know, so, you know, I bought a lot of houses, you know. Wow. So before COVID, I was buying like 100 a year. So 16, 17, 18, 19, I was buying 100 a year. So if you had
to estimate how much you've spent on buying houses, what would that number be?
Like out of my pocket or just in
both.
Total?
Let's say in total.
So I do no money down. I do no money deals. So out of my own pocket, you know, it's probably 30 grand, you know, so it's, you know, yeah, I don't really put a lot of my own money into it. But total house. So right now my portfolio, out of the 70 doors, I'm doing a portfolio. Well, I'm considering doing a portfolio refinance. And so what my numbers look like right now, you know, you can times that by how many ever. So right now I owe about 6.5 and my values right now are about 12.8. So if you do that, you know, times how many ever houses we purchased, so over 400, probably over 5. I just don't keep up anymore. Sheesh. Yeah. But, so yeah, So
now that's major. That's huge.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's still a little different.
With you doing real estate the way you do it now, you know, once you get past, I want to say a golden number, it could be like, let's say double digits, you start hitting 10, you get past 10, what's going through your mind?
Anxiety. Anxiety. So, because when I hit 10, I'm full-time now, you know, and when I'm talking about 10, I'm talking about 10 I keep, that I hold, that I own, you know, that I'm getting cash flow from. You know, anxiety breaks in at that point. Like it was a sense of cheer because I didn't realize that at that point I had $1 million worth of property. Because I mean, if you just do simple math, 10, you know, $100,000 for a house, that's kind of like these days is average. So, if not a little low. But anyway, when I realized that, it was a little cheer like, oh, wow, that's great. But then also a little anxiety set in too, because nobody ever talked about money, as a child. Like my dad encouraged me to get money, but he never told me how much was enough. How much do I need? I never added up, oh, I want these things, but I never said, well, this is how much it's going to cost.
Got it.
So the real life set in like, oh, wow, shit, $1 million, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's talked about like, no, don't tell people how much money you make. That's what people do. Your grandmother says, hey, Sawan, go check the mailbox to see if I got a check in the mailbox. Are you expecting a check? No, but I've been praying for one. You know what I mean? So if you've been raised on that kind of thing, and then now you have an opportunity where you're holding all of this debt. I mean, it's value there, but you're holding this debt. It's just like, oh, wow. Is this good? Is this bad? You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what set in then. But honestly, at that point, it was great because I took I'm like I said, everything was just worked out, and it's just been awesome.
So, that makes me think because again, and you're probably gonna look at me wild when I say this.
Yeah.
All the real estate people that come on here, I tell them, I don't have real estate.
That you don't?
Yeah.
You don't own any?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't have any real estate. The facet for it, it's not that I can't buy real estate.
Yeah.
But it's the facet for it is I don't like the process of real estate.
Yeah.
It sounds weird. Yeah. I'm telling you, it sounds weird.
Yeah.
But it's the process of real estate itself. I would rather create a company, possibly exit or keep if it's good.
Yeah.
Than go into real estate. I do understand the crazy benefits of real estate now.
Yeah.
But I think the anxiety from, just like you said, the debt.
Yeah.
Now there is cash flow. And so for me, it makes me think of the quote, when I have kids, I don't have kids yet, but when I have kids, tough times create tough men create good times.
Facts.
Good times create weak men.
Yeah.
Weak men create tough times. And so now for you have one or two kids.
6.
You have 6 kids?
Yeah, 6 kids.
Oh, you was fruitful.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I told you, I've been I was so in the grind. I didn't even realize we was having kids.
Wow.
Because I'm just grind. I'm just getting to my goal.
Gotcha.
I'm just getting to my goals. And so, looking back at it, I don't know if me and my wife would have so many kids now, but that's all I was doing. I was just head down. I'm working. I'm working. Great. We have a kid. Awesome. Whatever. I'm working on that day. I'm having a kid, like my birthday, a lot of people have parties and stuff, no parties for me on my birthday. I always wanted my birthday September the 8th. So that's the first week of the month. My birthday gift to myself is always, I want my bills paid. So if all of your bills are paid in 1 week, that's a good month.
Yeah.
And I want a check on my birthday because that's the overflow. That's always been my birthday gift to myself. And so if you're putting in that much work, you don't even realize what's going on. I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up till COVID, honestly. When COVID came around, that's when I looked up like, God damn, you got a lot of stuff going on, bro. Because I just, it just becomes normal when you're really in the grind. When you just wake up and you have a coffee, you exercise, you work. You know what I mean? And then you work all day until you go to sleep, and then you do it again. And that's literally the whole life that I live. So yeah.
So are you familiar with Patrick Bet-David?
I don't believe so.
And so he runs like PHP, like the big life insurance stuff and all that. He quotes on Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of something, I forget the full name. It's the hierarchy, but it basically has 4 levels. Yeah. And so level 1 at the bottom would be survivability. Yeah. This is where a lot of people are. They literally just work to pay their bills. Facts. Then it will go level 2, which is status. Most people, work to get the watch, the shoes, the car, whatever. Then level 3 would be freedom. Yeah. And for the people that break out of the first 2 levels, they get stuck here because freedom, they don't have a measurable amount. Like what exactly is freedom. And when they do get it, it's like, you know, the dog chasing his tail or the bone. You know, once you do get it, now what? You know, like what happens in life now?
Right.
But then that fourth level becomes purpose.
Absolutely.
And purpose, you know, a lot of different people hit this. And so you got mob members that might hit it. You got, you know, people like Frank Lucas. You got, you know, regular people that make good money that hit this level, but they start attaching themselves to what, you know, purpose, God's purpose, and start fulfilling it. And money no longer becomes the leading factor.
Right.
So you make all this money from that. Do you need an exit strategy? Like, what's your plan?
Do I need an exit strategy? So what's my plan? That's good. So my goal has always been, I want 250 houses, you know, that I rent out.
Okay.
And the reason why is that number is because my net cash flow is 350. So that means that I do, you know, $65,000 net, you know, without having to sneeze, you know. That's always been that. But in the last year, I still want to do that. Don't get me wrong. But in the last, maybe even longer than a year, but in the last year, I really came up with a plan that is, I want to lend to my students. Okay. So COVID changed it for me because those 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, I had an office and I had, you know, sales guys, you know, the gamut, you know, I got virtual assistants, you know, but when COVID happened, GOD told me to fire everybody. I was down for a second. I got to the office and Travis had just got a deal on the contract. So he's ringing the bell. Everybody's celebrating him on. Paul had just, you know, assigned a contract, you know, and I'm like, I love this. I'm not about to, you know. Anyway, 3 months later, everybody's gone for whatever reason. Literally nobody. I went from 12 guys in the office to nobody in the office, just me. And I'm like, come on, GOD, what we doing? So I had like a time of reset. And so that's when I started teaching. So, but I don't teach just to teach. Okay. I tell everybody that I'm not a teacher. Okay. This is my acquisition strategy. So I teach people how to find deals and how to buy real estate or whatever. If they want to buy their own personal house, then great. I'll teach you that. But my main goal for teaching is so that I can have people find me deals and then I can guarantee their success because I'll say, hey, bro, look, now that you find this deal, I'll buy it from you.
Let's joint venture.
Yeah, I'll buy it from you. If you want a joint venture, then hey, great. You know, because some people are just not ready for that.
Gotcha.
But some people like the confidence that they have that can say, hey, look, I found a deal. I don't have the money. I'm just going to sell it to you real quick and make 5, 10, 15, 20 grand, you know. And so that's been my whole strategy. Now, like I said, now I've been doing that for 3.5, 4 years now. And so now I still do a bunch of flips. Like right now, I got 5 projects going on right now, and I got 3 on the market. I got a closing tomorrow, actually. Today's Tuesday?
I don't even know. Monday.
I got a closing on Wednesday. And 2. But so now my goal is changing. My oldest daughter is 12, you know, so I got 6 more years with her. And so now my goal is like, well, how do I become the lender for my guys? You know, how do I become the lender so I can still teach my students, but instead of buying it from them, you know, the ones that are successful that I've been teaching for a couple of years, you know what I mean? They've done, 20, 30 deals. How do I become the lender for those for those students? And I just, play a part as the mentor, but also as the lender, and I get paid an interest on my money. And so my goal has been,
become
literally
the bank.
Yeah, become the bank. And so that's kind of like my 3 to 5 year goal right now.
Okay.
So yeah.
No, that's and in becoming a bank, life insurance?
No, that's not a part of it. But so essentially, my house right now, since I had this idea, it's been since COVID, I've been looking for, like a little mini mansion that I can buy, something I can buy for $1 million that's worth $1.5 million. It took me 3 years to find it, end up buying it last year. And so the goal is, you pay it off real quick. Well, first of all, you structure the term so it's in your favor. You pay it off in 24 months. First position HELOC. You pay 1.2. It's worth $2 million. You get a HELOC for 1.8. Okay. You use the 1.8 HELOC to lend to your students. HELOC is at 5%. You're lending to your students at 14%. You're making 9% every quarter or every 6 months twice. So you're making 18% a year on 1.8.
Sheesh.
So that's how you get your 400 grand, that Cardone, and I'm just doing, instead of me, finding the contractors and managing the contractors and paying for the marketing and managing the people at a higher level now, I'm teaching my guys, I'm teaching my students, so I'm teaching my army how to find deals, and I'm coming, along as their partner, and so that gives me more time.
Nah, that's super methodical. For myself and the people in the audience who probably looking at you like, what is HELOC? What is HELOC?
No, HELOC. Oh, it's a home equity line of credit.
Okay.
So like a mortgage is a mortgage. A mortgage is typically 30 years, and out of every payment is principal, pay down, and there's interest. Okay. But in a HELOC, it's like a credit card. It's like a credit card. So it's not like a mortgage. So once again, I got 1.8 on a HELOC, on a home equity line of credit, credit card. I don't pay any interest on it until I use it. So essentially, I'm waiting for the right opportunity. So if I happen to have if I happen to have a student and I'm teaching them, and boom, that's a nice deal, bro. Look, I'll fund that for you real quick. I use my HELOC, write a check for the closing, boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoa. Okay.
Exactly. And there's an open line of credit that you continually use. You use it, you can pay it off. You use it again, pay it down, pay it off, and bada boom, bada bang.
See, and this is why I tell people all the time, when we all have to understand, like, no matter how many real estate people come on here, this is the first time I'm hearing about this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so important to understand people's stories, because that's why I tell people there's a million ways to make $1 million.
Facts.
And everybody's like, oh, you got to do this or you got to do that. And I don't really believe that, because you can, this is America.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is America.
America.
Yeah. And so, especially in real estate, there's so many ways to make money. And that's why I always tell people, just it's up to how you want to do it, but as far as, owning it, like, you got to, you got it. That's just my opinion. You got to, if you a man, and Grant Cardone says making 400 grand, you need real estate, because the best benefit for a man is the taxes that you're going to save, that your house is going to help you save. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you an example of depreciation, bro. So I bought an apartment complex, 8 unit. Okay. I think I paid $350 for it. Okay. And, I paid $350 for it, but it appraised on a desktop appraisal, for $850. Okay. So even though I only paid $350 for it, by the way, it's none of my own money, but I'm able to depreciate the full $850. So if you can accelerate your depreciation, or you can break it up. So if you made $350,000 this year, okay, that you have to pay taxes on, capital gains on, I can depreciate $350. Hey, so what's up?
No, I've always understood the dynamic of that, because it's always been two things. It's either I leave the country or I get real estate.
Absolutely. And it's like, number one, I didn't bring my own $350. I used somebody else $350. Secondly, and I can also depreciate even more. And the reason why they do that is just because we as real estate investors, we create so many jobs that we're responsible for growing the economy. You know what I mean? And because of that, we get paid a lot of money. That's what I always tell people. If you want to make a lot of money, it doesn't take a lot of time, then real estate is where you need to be.
Got it. Yeah. And so when you look at real estate, buying a house, doing it that way, it made me think of like what Neo Davis does. Yeah. With the commercial spaces now, like event spaces.
Absolutely.
And so the dynamic of having one house where one person might pay rent versus an event space where you pay that same overhead, but that rent might be made in just one weekend.
Absolutely.
Do you have a mix of commercial as well?
So me personally, I have a lot. So I'm open, God was open. So I'm open. And, the way I market to people is I don't really have like a filter on my marketing.
Got it.
Which is why I'm here, So whatever comes my way, I'm open to. So yes, yeah, I have some commercial. I have a lot of single family. I have some multifamily. I have a lot of land. So I'm open to whatever comes my way, and they all make money in different ways.
Got it.
So let me give you an example. So I just opened up a short-term rental yesterday while I was here. And I love the short-term rentals because number one, my houses stay nicer, but also, I get paid multiple times a week on a rental property. You just get paid once a month.
Yeah.
But, if you can get paid multiple times with more profit on each transaction, then I'm about that.
So how do you trigger a short-term rental versus the long-term?
It's really about your thermostat. It's about your financial thermostat, what you're comfortable with. The reason why I chose this one is because it's close to North Carolina A&T. So for me, when a house is close to North Carolina A&T or close to a college, period, and if it's close to a highway and it's close to a hospital, and is less than 10 minutes from downtown, traffic. It's got traffic all day long. If it's close to a highway, construction companies send people from a state over to go work on a bridge, and they're going to be there for 2-3 weeks. They not staying in a hotel. They much rather just stay in a house because it's going to be 8 of them.
Got it.
You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a traveling nurse, going to be close to the hospital. She don't want to stay. She don't want to stay in a hotel because she pays out of pocket first, and then the company reimburses her, and so it's cheaper for her to stay in a house because she can just rent the room to one of the other nurses. You know what I'm saying? For A&T, orientations, people coming into school, parents visiting, homecoming, it stays busy. And it being downtown, concerts, events, all those kinds of things. So for me, it's just like, nah, that house need to stay nice. And, it's got to be furnished. And that's how it's going to make the most amount of money. So all the houses make money in different ways. So I got 4 group homes or halfway houses. People come right out of jail in those. And, state and Fed pays me on those. And they pay by the bed. They pay $1,000 per bed,
Have you ever dabbled in government contracting with the housing?
I mean, technically that is a government contract. Once again, state and Fed pays us on those, and they pay us to feed them, pay us to take them to work, help them get a job. They have like all kinds of line items that you get paid on. And so shout out to Ms. Shawnee, my partner on that one. But yes. And so the thing about businesses and real estate, there's so much going on, you really have to stay in your lane. And because I don't know if I'm ever going to build a skyscraper because it's just too much out of my lane.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like building new construction, I'm down because I already buy land. Great. How can I maximize land? I build new construction. I already do rehab, so I got contractors. So new construction is easy. You know what I'm saying? Rental property, it doesn't matter if it's Airbnb or group homes. I got to be able to get cash flow from my property. So that's just it. But to say I'm going to take a house and turn it into a studio like this, you know what I mean? Because a lot of guys are doing that now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not my lane. I'm not a video guy. I don't know, So, I don't. Yeah, I kind of stay in like a box where I can pay myself multiple times, in the situation. So
and so all of your stuff is in North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and
I stay local.
You would never venture out.
Not never. I'm always open. I'm always open. See, I got one in like Cincinnati. I'm looking for one in Atlanta, but right now my stuff is in North Carolina. I'm like old man when it comes to that. I want to be able to drive around, see my stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I'm very much, old fashioned, just like my dad. When I see the neighbors, when I see my tenants, they got a cookout. They invite me over for the cookout. Sometimes I come, sometimes I don't. Very much traditional. And that's what I love about my business. It's no like magic. Everybody's like, oh, you got to drive a Porsche and stuff. No, bro, you can own a Rolex and just hang out with your tenants.
Yeah.
Every 4th of July, I'm at Miss Rita house. She lives in one of my houses in Brown Summit, and it's nothing. It's like, it's not magic. It's just work. It's normal. You know what I mean? You want to live in $1 million house? Just buy some houses.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
And so for the dynamic that made you, or not made you, but molded you into the person that you are now, do you feel like, how are you teaching your kids to keep the same drive that you
Nice.
had?
That's good. That's good. So over at the estate, at the manor, is what I call it. You know, we do a bunch of different stuff. So so it's 22 acres, but in a couple of different parts we make money. And so I have the kids a part of that. So number one, you know, in order for us to be a bona fide farm, you know, we have chickens and yeah, so I make sure that the kids is, you know, making sure they feeding them and water them. You know, we got 5 acres of that is for like our football field and for our basketball tournaments. You know, so I have Amina out there. She's the oldest one, you know, selling lemonade. You know, when you know, she's selling lemonade to people whenever we had a basketball tournaments and the youth football games. You know, actually we got a wedding coming up August the 30th and we got a golf cart. So she drives the golf cart from the parking lot over to the field area and she collects tips from people, taking them over to the field area in the golf cart. You know, so yeah. So I'm making sure, and also just even me thinking about spending more time with them, I feel like all of that is, you know, the kids is important. The kids is super important. So yeah.
And so I assume you have the whole trusts and all of that already set up.
Yes, but you know, I really try to stay away from that. Like as far as, you know, this is not that hard. You know what I mean? Like I don't like to make it difficult. I mean, yeah, I definitely have trust, and I mean anybody that buys any level of, and once you get past 40 properties, and you've been using the same real estate attorney, he's gonna start to advise you. You know. So all of the hype, you know, online about trust, I mean, it's boring shit. It's a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You know, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you only get the piece of paper because you've done enough work. So somebody out here creating one, you know, they creating a trust because they bought 2 houses. It's like, yo, you waste your time. You waste your time, bro. You know, because honestly, your insurance already has $1 million, you know, liability policy anyway, you know. So it's, I mean, so at some point, it's just real estate is not that hard. You know, you market direct to seller, you talk to them until they're ready to sell. When they're ready to sell, you get a commitment and ask them if they will sell to you today if you can do that number. If they say yes, great. Go buy the house, look at the comps, tell them what you can offer even if it seems low. If they say yes, have them sign a purchase agreement. Not that hard. You know what I mean? And in real estate, it's real estate. Everybody wants it. So even if you can't come up with the money, you can find somebody else that got more money than you who will want to buy it from you. That simple.
So, you know, hearing you say that makes me think of neighborhoods like the ones in like, I believe, don't quote me, don't crucify me for this. It's I believe it's in somewhere in St. Louis. There's a few different neighborhoods, or New Orleans, where they have these the projects basically where you can go get a house for like
but
$10,000.
But that really takes away from it. That really takes away from it. So like right now we're in Miami. I've already seen it. So right now I'm downtown Miami. Okay. I went to Brickell. Where am I gonna buy it? I'm gonna be buying in downtown Miami. It's like there's a bunch of fucking vacant buildings. That's where I'm buying at. You know, I'm not gonna be buying as an investor. I'm not buying in Brickell. I'm buying in downtown Miami because there's a bunch of vacant stuff that needs work.
So what I'm trying to refer to is like these neighborhoods, these black neighborhoods that are like super run down. No one's investing in it to build it back up.
Maybe. You know, but I mean, those are the areas that you want to go for, but just not super run down. Like I have new construction homes. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be run down. If you want it to be run down, then amen. Then hey, great, go buy the hood. You can. And I have a lot of houses in the hood, and you know, I love that. But that doesn't have to be. If you want to go to, you know, if you want to have new construction houses, you can buy those with equity as well. Let me give you an example. So 2019, no, it was right during COVID. 2020, I'm running Facebook ad campaigns at the time. Okay. Facebook ad, you know, campaigns, I'm marketing to people who own houses, of course, who just purchased them in the last, you know, 12 to 24 months. Okay. And the reason I want to do that is because those people don't have a lot of equity in their homes after they purchase them. If they're buying from a realtor on the market, the job of the realtor is to get them to pay the most money possible. Retail. Okay. So they don't have a lot of equity in the first 12 to 24 months. I'm reaching out to those people because I know since they don't have a lot of equity, if they need or want to sell, they won't be able to sell on the market. They'll have to sell off market.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? So I get a lead in. A lady just built a brand new house. Took 12 months to build. She's been living in it for 4 months. The builder did not tell her who was buying the townhome right beside her. They're like duplex townhomes. Okay. So they share a wall. Yeah. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, 2-car garage. Okay. And when she found out it was a black lady, she instantly didn't like it. She's an older white lady, So now she's trying to sell it, but she can't because she just purchased it. Yeah. It's not enough equity. It's not enough debt pay down. Okay. So I offered her, hey, look, well, I give you $5,000 right now and I'll take over your mortgage. She said, yes. Boom. I got a brand new house. It's been rented to the same person ever since. Wow. Cash flows $1,000 off of the mortgage. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And so I guess you could go to the hood if you wanted to, and like I said, I have houses in the hood, but don't let that restrict you. You can go wherever you want and buy a property, make it cash flow, buy with equity, wherever,
So I want to enter the part of the convo as we start coming to a close. Yeah. We call this gem drops.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Gem drops is where we give unfiltered information. So nice. This is if you have a course, if you have coaching, if you have, students directly that you teach, we're going to give the same information that you would teach them, the same process, all of that. And you said something that I want to highlight. And so with your Facebook ad campaign, walk us through how you set that up to be like, how much you paid for it, how frequent, what was your call to action, all of those things.
Absolutely. Okay. So if you're doing Facebook ads, then you're finding people online who need you. So they're hot leads. Okay. They're not like cold call leads where it takes time to warm up. They want to sell right now, today, but in order to, perform the best, you need to have a little online influence. And so even if you've never been online before, you don't have a Facebook account, it's not that hard. Go to Google, create a Google My Business page. Boom. Your business is up. Go to Craigslist and make a post. Boom. Your business is up. Go to BBB, the Better Business Bureau, create a business page, your business is up. And you want to do as many of those quote unquote backlinks as possible. Because when somebody finds you online, they're going to search you online to see if you're credible. So that way, when they see, oh, great, this guy pops up in all these different places. He's a real person. When that lead comes in, it's actually going to convert. So that's first before you even create a Facebook campaign. I mean, it's as simple as creating a Facebook business page. Yeah. And, so when you're creating that ad, you definitely need a business page. You don't want to send people away from Facebook. Facebook, they want to keep people on Facebook. So if you try to push them off of the platform, they're going to show it to less people and they're going to spend the same amount of money first. So create your Facebook business page. When you're creating the ad, you need to create 2. You need to create one that's just a picture of the city, and something that people are going to know, about your city. So if it's Miami, it might be downtown with all the, the skyscrapers with the Bayside sign in the background. You know what I'm saying? People know, oh, that's Miami, because you want to be targeting where you want to buy.
Got it.
Okay. The other one, you're going to want to do a video, you in front of whatever you want to buy. So if you want to buy a pretty house need to be behind you. If you want to buy an ugly house, or if you want to buy in the hood need to be behind you. And you want to set the expectation on that. Says, hey, I actually just talked to the seller. Even if you didn't, we talked about this house. This is what we went through. She reached out to me because, you might be going through the same thing. If you got a house you want to sell to look like this, I don't mind buying, put in your info. And you're going to create a form there. Okay. So what you need to put on that form is name, phone number, email address, and address. Okay. Now I will say that's 4 different things that you need, and that's going to kind of restrict your lead flow. Okay. So if you only put one thing, just an email, you'll get more emails. You'll get more leads. If you put 2 things, you're going to get less. If you put 4, you're going to get less. But I always suggest the 4 because anybody that's willing to give you more, they're more serious about it. You know what I mean? If they're willing to give you the address, hey, it's winner, chicken dinner. You know what I'm saying? The more they give you, the readier they are. Because the whole purpose of internet leads is so it's like no fluff. They're lay down leads. Okay. And when you create those 2, I like to do 2 different ones too, as far as like the audience. One, I just like to create like a radius, geographic. So if you want to buy in Miami, then you'll do a radius of however big, 30 miles or 40 miles, whatever that radius is. And I do an unfiltered kind of audience, because after about, 60 days, Facebook kind of picks up on who that audience is, and then you can retarget and then drill it down more. On the other one, that's your video, you might want to do demographic, and Facebook knows a lot, so they know who have mortgages. They know who recently purchased a house or purchased a house at that particular amount of time, so you want to kind of dumb it down based off of more specifics on demographic of person, age, race, that kind of thing. And once again, after about 60 to 90 days, Facebook will pick up who that particular person it is. You can drum it down even more. And so that's how I'm running it.
Okay. And then when they launch these initial ads, what kind of money are they putting behind the ads?
I say in the first 3 days, you need $5 a day. It's just fine.
Okay.
So if you get your, not if, but you're supposed to get a lead, from one ad at $5 a day in the first 3 days. If you do, perfect. Now you can spend whatever you want, $10, $15, $25. If you don't, then you need to change something.
Got it.
And so you stay at the $5 until you get a lead, and it's like, oh, great. Well, now it's working. So let's do it, but yeah.
No, that's dope. Hey, listen, gem drops. So we like to give that to them, because these episodes are long.
Absolutely.
And for the people that sit there and take their time.
Absolutely.
Because time is the one thing you don't get back, and they make it this far into the episode, we like to give them that section to be like, yo, he just really told me some crazy plays and did this and that. And
absolutely.
The messages we've gotten back, the emails we've gotten back from people like, oh man, like, I want to thank you. Like, how can I do this? I want to do that. And no, you definitely, you made me like real estate more from this episode.
Absolutely. Bro, like you definitely need to own something. It doesn't, like I said, it's up to you what you want to own. But like, I love my fucking house, bro. I love my house, love my house, bro. And so that's just because we choose to own it. My auntie, she's a successful judge, but she's never owned a house before. And, I had her on my YouTube channel, just like, like, why have you never owned anything? And she just said she never wanted to, but she's never owned anything. She only owns a car. That's it. She's just never, wanted anything.
Yeah.
And so I say that if you want anything out of life, if you're just an average Joe and you want anything out of life, own a house. Because on average, if you live in a house and you own it, on average, when you sell it, you're going to make the most amount of money you've ever made in your life, because it's the most expensive thing that people can buy. Yeah. and so that's just how it is. It's easy. It's not magic. Yeah. It's not flashy. It's just houses,
Just houses.
Yeah.
No, that was crazy, man. Sawan, you came on here, you dropped some amazing gems. And so, as a closing note, for the people that want to learn more, because you clearly teach a lot.
Absolutely.
The way you articulated yourself, I might have to look at your programs, you know what I'm saying, what you got going on.
Absolutely.
But if people wanted to tap in with you more, what do you offer as far as like courses, coaching, anything like that?
Yeah, so I in my opinion, the best value that I have is our weekly coaching. Every Sunday at 9 p.m. We gem drop. So, first we celebrate everybody that has success that week. We hold each other accountable for actually doing the income-driven skills, marketing to sellers, making offers, and collecting EMD and actually having the closings. And then we deep dive a topic for about 45 minutes and have a Q&A at the end every Sunday. And, that's just good because you end up having these like-minded people around you. You know what I mean? Like, my wife is bored by this. You know what I mean? Like, but she loved talking about the Atlanta Housewives and whatever other show, so I can't even connect with her on this level. I start talking about this, it deflates me. You know what I mean? It doesn't make me feel as motivated about what I'm doing. So I created the community because I need other people to talk to share this kind of stuff with, because it makes me feel good. It challenges me that I should get a deal on the contract every week and say, yo, when I say, who got a deal this week, I did. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of like, in my opinion, the best value that we have. But you guys can sign up at thisismetakinaction.com, and if you just want to reach out and just see what I'm doing, Instagram, YouTube, This Is Me Taking Action. I'm everywhere. That's kind of the best way to just kind of kind of have like a little 101 in the DMs, you know, on IG. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, there y'all have it. Y'all heard it there first, man. And so you know where to hit them up. This is me taking action. You can't forget that kind of handle because that's that you got to trademark that.
Absolutely.
You got to do something with
it's
that.
It's already been done.
Yeah. So make sure y'all tap in, tune in. If you like this episode, share this information with a friend. Make sure that you just follow, subscribe. And as we always say, this is your host, Mastermind Moneybag Rich. And we look good. We live good. Life is good. Talk to us. We talk back. And we out.